Hello, everyone. This is Reverend Richard Miner. I'm the Graduate Engagement Officer here at One Spirit Learning Alliance, and it is my great honor and privilege to have with me Reverend Ahmondra McClendon.
Thank,
Ahmondra, hello. Thank you for joining me.
thank you for having me. I'm excited.
And Ahmondra is joining us all the way from Carlsbad, California. So it's a little bit of a time difference.
Yes,
We
sunny.
had
I
a
should
little
say sunny. Carlsbad.
sunny Carlsbad, California. Well, now you were a graduate of the class of 2014, and I understand you've got lots of amazing things going on right now in addition to the work that you've done here at One Spirit.
Yes.
So I'd like to start off with my first question. I always
Okay.
jump right in with, tell me a little bit about yourself and what led you to One Spirit.
It's interesting because when you talk about calling, I actually got a calling because there's no way in any place in my world would I have thought about going into the ministry. I'm a social worker by training, and I did 20 years as a social worker, and I was in retirement, and I got this calling to become a minister, but it was real clear I was not to be a minister in a particular denomination.
Mhm.
And I had not a clue how I was going to do that. So I started asking questions of all my friends. And one friend who is a minister, I thought was in social science of mind. And I started telling him, I got this calling to be a minister, but not to go into a particular church. And he was like, oh, I know what you want. You want One Spirit, Interfaith. And I'm like, what is that? I had no idea he was a graduate from One Spirit. And so he gave me the name of One Spirit. I called. The class had just started, but they told me if you can get all your paperwork in here within 2 weeks, you can come in. And I got it, and I zoomed in, and that's how I ended up in One Spirit. No regrets.
Oh, that is a great story. Now, but you were very, very busy. You did social work before you came to One Spirit.
Well, I was in retirement. I had been in retirement for several years. After I retired as a social worker with San Francisco City and County, I became a professional speaker and an author, and I did a lot of transformational work with teens. So I was traveling all over the world. I was in Asia a lot, all over the United States, speaking and doing transformational workshops. Yeah.
Well, that's quite a history now. So you had quite a history before you came to One Spirit. Can you tell me a little bit about the 2 years that you spent in One Spirit and how they impacted your life?
Whoa, that was a journey. When I stepped into One Spirit, my whole life fell apart. I had family members that started dying and died, and I got evicted because my landlord moved. I had all this stuff happening inside of that 2 years. And the amazing thing was all the work that I was doing in One Spirit allowed me to understand that whatever was going on in my life, I could still move forward, that it wasn't going to stop me. And then learning about all the different traditions and the sacred services, and then having that One Spirit community shifted me totally, shifted my whole way of being, meaning that I no longer worried about what was going on around me. My spirituality just bloomed. I wouldn't say it grew because it was always there, but it blossomed in that 2-year experience. It was amazing. Yeah.
Well, and since 2014, you've been busy with lots of things. How has the time at One Spirit impacted your life?
It has impacted my life in that I have a bigger community. I have this huge community in New York. It seems like every other month I'm in New York doing something. But it's impacted me in a way, meaning that I understand that I am to make an impact in the world. And impact in a way that allows individuals to really embrace who they are as spiritual beings. It has nothing to do with what they believe, their beliefs. It has nothing to do with their work. It has to do with who they are as a human being. And One Spirit has allowed me to understand that I can speak to someone who has a different belief than I do, and it's okay. I can speak to them in such a way that they can hear me, because I'm not prophesying. I'm not trying to change them. I'm simply wanting them to be happy in their world, and everybody wants to be happy. So yeah, that's what it's done for me.
That's been amazing now. And you are busy doing a lot of wonderful things right now as well. You've got a couple of irons in the fire,
Oh,
and I wanted to touch on those. So
okay.
if you could tell me a little bit about what you're doing with your education now.
Now that is amazing. About a year ago, I got a rumor in my ear that One Spirit was in conversation with New York Theological Seminary about allowing those One Spirit graduates to become students in the Master of the Divinity, the Doctorate of Ministry program, and use what we had from One Spirit as the equivalent of an MDiv. And also, I'm sure we had to have a master's. So I heard about that, and I got in touch with actually a classmate, Jose, who actually went through the program. So last year, I looked at it, and I talked to people, and I just kind of put it on the back burner. And then this year, I got a call from Reverend Arjane, who's right here with me in California, saying he was going to do the program. And I said, okay, if you do it, I'll do it with you. So we applied and we got accepted. And just last week, I was in New York for my first week of class. So I'm actually in the Doctor of Ministry program at New York Theological Seminary. And it's a 3-year program. So in 3 years, you'll be calling me Reverend Doctor or Dr. Reverend Ahmondra. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, and I am very much looking forward to that. So you were able to use your ordination from One Spirit along with the other masters that you already have as the equivalent of an MD to go into the doctorate program.
Yes, that's my understanding, because I applied and I was accepted. And so I knew that they were accepting One Spirit graduates, but I don't know if you had to have a master's or not. I have a master's. So
I believe you do.
Yeah. So that makes sense, because master's level work would prepare you to do doctorate level work. And so we're in. And the other wonderful thing is that we are all in what they call the multi-faith cohort. So there's two. There's one that's multi-faith, and then there's another that's congregational, that's more traditional. And the exciting thing for us is that there's 8 in our cohort, and 4 of us are all from the same graduating class at One Spirit. So we have our own little group inside of this other group. It's pretty cool.
That sounds very cool. That sounds like a wonderful, wonderful experience.
It is.
So now, and you were telling me earlier that you also have another project that you're working on.
Yes. So I'm a published author, and I'm writing a book, and it's a book that's called The Happy Passenger When God is Your Designated Driver. I started this book a couple of years ago just because as I'm talking to people, I understand that they're moving through life, but sometimes they get stuck. And they get stuck because they're trying to do everything. And even though they believe in God and their faith is strong, they haven't developed the tools to actually sit back and just allow God, Spirit, divine power to lead them in their life and take them wherever they want to go. And I've learned how to do that. And I think I learned because of all of the tragedies that hit me at one time in my life. Was like all I could do was sit back and say, okay, God, take me to wherever I wanted to go. And I realized that when I did that, everything worked out. And I didn't go crazy inside of all that I was dealing with. So that book hopefully will be out by the end of the year. And yeah, I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. And when it does come out, you have to let me know so I can be sure and let all of our students and graduates know that it's out there as well. So you've been doing lots of interesting things. You're taking some really, really big steps into your future. And a lot of this had to do with what you did here at One Spirit. Can you tell me a little bit about what do you think was your greatest gift that you received from your time at One Spirit and the time that you've spent outside of One Spirit since your ordination?
I would have to say the biggest gift is community. One Spirit was not just a learning experience. I joined a family. That's the biggest gift. I can pick up the phone, I can call, I can text. Like right now, every Sunday, I have an accountability call with one of my One Spirit graduates. Every Sunday, we get on the phone and we talk just to keep each other on target and to support each other. And so for me, that's what it was. It's when I go to New York, I always have a place to stay. I have people to call, people to just hang out with. And even here in California. So it was community inside of a spiritual conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the greatest gift One Spirit gave me.
That's really, really wonderful. So as you go forward and you do new things, what do you think will be your greatest contributions?
To the world or to, I believe my greatest contribution to the world is just letting people know that they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
That they can live a happy and free life no matter what's going on. That's that thing inside of me that keeps coming up. When I get discouraged or I say, I can't do this, it's like, yes, you can. You know, I have 30 years in recovery. A lot of people don't understand that. So I have seen people who were down, out, in the gutter, stand up and develop these wonderful lives, all because they were inside of a community, and that community said to them, we love you, and you can do this, and there is a power greater than you that can help you do this. So I want those people who don't have addiction problems or major issues to understand that they can do that also. And there's a community that I'm really, really passionate about right now. Those individuals call themselves spiritual but not religious. Those people who have left the traditional churches but still have a powerful affinity for God and for spirituality, and they're online. So right now I'm looking at doing research and actually may do my dissertation around that population. How can I provide them with a platform where they can step in and they can have community outside of the traditional religious community, but inside of a community of others that are just like them? So that's what I'm passionate about right now.
And it is beautiful to see your passion. It is clear that you really, really genuinely believe in this and this message. And as we are coming to our close here, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with the graduate community or with anybody who might be thinking about joining the One Spirit community?
Well, for the graduate community, I just want to say that, look, you don't have to stand in a pulpit and preach every Sunday. I choose not to do that. You can take your ministry and take it into the world and touch people's lives in a way that makes a difference for them. And then to anyone who may be looking and thinking about coming into One Spirit, I say, if you have been touched, if you've been called, then I say answer that call and step into One Spirit. You will see that it's just where you're supposed to be.
Ahmondra, thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us and to tell us about everything that's going on with you. It is truly an inspiration to see you talk about your passions and all the wonderful projects that you are working on. And I have to say, on a personal note, I am very much looking forward to seeing you in New York.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Ahmondra, thank you so very much. Wish you all the very best in everything that you're working on now. Many blessings, and I will look forward to seeing you around the halls of One Spirit.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.